Classes are in full swing at the University of the District of Columbia, so that means the fields and courts are packed with action, and we're going to bring it right to you. Today on Firebird Nation Sports Update, we'll visit with Firebirds head men's soccer coach Matt Thompson, as well as soccer student athlete and captain Roque Hernandez. We'll also visit with tennis head coach Dickie Mahaffey and one of his senior student athletes, Sophia Leon. We've got a lot to cover, so stay with us on Firebird Nation Sports Update. Hello, this is Firebird Nation Sports Update, your inside look at the University of the District of Columbia Athletics. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. The University of the District of Columbia Athletics is on the rise, so come fly with the Firebirds. The Firebird men's soccer team is off to an unbelievable start, sitting at 4-0 with wins over Holy Family, Goldie Beacom, California of PA, and Nyack. They are currently ranked number 10 in the East region. Freshman forward Felix Angerer and freshman midfielder Nenad Smiljanic have both been named East Coast Conference Rookies of the Week, while sophomore Roque Hernandez was also named to the ECC Weekly Honor Roll. Senior Bakary Koulibaly leads the team with 3 goals, and Felix Angerer has a team-high 3 assists. Hopefully the Firebirds can keep it going and get it done in East Coast Conference play. The men's soccer team and the Student Athlete Advisory Committee recently hosted the Make-A-Wish soccer game on September 14th. The event was a huge success, and 100% of the profits went directly to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Firebirds women's tennis has high hopes for the 2013 fall season, with 3 returning veterans and 3 talented newcomers. Senior Jessica Nunez, a 3-time reigning first-team All-ECC selection, will captain the team in her 4th and final season. Senior Sophia Leon and junior Maxime Daoust also return for what should be an exciting fall season. Women's tennis is off to a strong start already with 2 early season victories over ECC foes St. Thomas Aquinas and Dowling College. Women's cross country opened its season on Saturday, September 7th at the University of the Maryland Eastern Shore event. The Firebirds will compete in 6 meets this season, including the ECC Championships on October 27th. Sophomore Simone Grant is the top returning runner for the Firebirds. In other news, the UDC Athletic Department is hosting the first annual Firebird Open Golf Tournament on Monday, October 14th at National Golf Club at Tantalon in Fort Washington, Maryland. The golf tournament is open to any interested golfers and will be a perfect day to meet the UDC coaches and athletics staff, as well as play some great golf. For more information, to register a foursome or to sponsor a hole, visit udcfirebirds.com. Click on Alumni Support, then Firebird Open Golf Tournament. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll visit with our first guests, UDC men's soccer coach Matt Thompson and Firebird senior Roque Hernandez. So stay right there. We're now joined by UDC men's soccer head coach Matt Thompson and Firebird soccer student athlete Roque Hernandez. Thanks to both of you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Coach, let's start with you. You're off to a good start. What do you think so far?
So far, so good. We're off to a good start. It's obviously nice to play so many games at home to start with to get us get the ball rolling. But yeah, we've been playing well. I think we're trying to improve every game. So yeah, so far so good.
Roque, what are your thoughts as your team sits at 4-0 in the early goings of the season?
I feel great. We've gelled. We had a good preseason that's led us into a 4-0 start. Lots of chemistry beginning to help us, and we want to continue the hard work and continue to win.
Seems like you're definitely working hard as a team. You're definitely coming together. You have to be pretty pleased and proud of your teammates.
Yes, I am, because we have about 7 new players, and we obviously don't have much experience, but we bring in talent, and we just need the gel mesh.
Now, Coach, this is your 3rd season at UDC. This is the best start you've had since you've been here. How are you going to be able to maintain this throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of taking one game at a time. And that's what we tell the guys every time. Keep your feet on the ground and one game at a time. Every game brings a different challenge, and we have to make sure we're prepared. In training, we make sure we're as prepared as we possibly can be, and so that we're confident going into each game.
Now, we had you on the show about a month ago. We talked about some of your goals. The season hadn't started yet. Now you're 4-0. Have your goals changed? I mean, you look at the ECC tournament, ECC champions, maybe NCAA tournament.
No, goals stay the same. We're excited to how we started, but we haven't achieved anything yet. It's a great start, but that's all it is. So our goal is to make the top 4 in the conference, and anything after that will be great. But no, the guys know, take each game as it comes, and hopefully we can continue to be even better. I want to say consistent, but we need to improve if we want to compete with the conference teams, because they're all good. Every game in the conference is a challenge, and they bring us a different type of game. So we have to be ready and prepared for each game.
Great. Now, Roque mentioned the newcomers that you have, the several new players. You have a really nice mix of veterans and then top newcomers to really balance out the team. Talk about the team's makeup and the cohesion of the group.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think our culture defines us. We have players from England, from Germany, from Latin America, South America. We have African players, so it's a great mix. And the fun part about coaching is trying to put it all together into one piece. And the guys have been great. They're taking each thing that we're trying to get across to them. They're taking it and they're running with it, which is great. So it's fun. It's a fun team to be around.
We've talked about some of your top returners, obviously Roque, Anelio, Hernandez, and then also Bakary and some others. Who are some of the newcomers that now you can talk about who have been kind of standing out?
Yeah, well, I think Lewis Connor in goal gives us a different dimension. He's very good with his feet, so we can actually play the ball back and try and play out the back, which is pleasing. Zach Edo in centre back is forming a very good partnership with Atunde, who's a returning player who's been very good, but I think the two of them have been playing very well. Nenad in centre midfield, very good on the ball, calms us down a little bit. When the game gets into a physical game, he's able to put his foot on the ball and try and keep it simple and get us back to playing again. And then Felix up front has been doing a great job holding the ball up and getting in goal scoring opportunities. Two wide players have been great, Roque, but also Sam, another freshman, has been working the wide play very well with Bakary playing behind him. So yeah, every new player is contributing. We've got players coming off the bench that are also doing very well. Adam Spinks at the moment has been injured, but he had a goal and an assist, I think, in one of the early games. So we're hoping to have him back as soon as possible. But
well, all that youth really points to not only a good season this year, but hopefully a bright future as well. So that's great. Roque, let's switch over to you. I don't want to embarrass you, but you're not the biggest guy in the world. Some of your teammates, however, are pretty big. You look at your roster, you've got guys who are 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", and they look even bigger than that. Now, although you're not the biggest guy on the team, you are very skilled, you're very tough, determined, you're a great leader. So my question is, your size, how does that affect your game? Is that a plus? Is it a negative? Is it a non-factor?
In my opinion, it's a non-factor. I use my size the way it's given. I don't have an option. I have to use my body. We have a great strengthening coach as an intern, and she's helped us, or she's helped me a lot to just be stronger, and you use my core for balance. I like to play physical, so when it does come to challenge, the challenge comes, I don't step back. I go.
And you certainly, it seems like you use your skill and your quickness as well to your advantage.
Right.
Maybe some of the bigger guys might not have as much of.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, the other day you beat Nyack, which was just a really interesting game, on a free kick with 3 seconds to go by Nenad Smiljanic. And a yellow card was given to Nyack just outside the box, and they set up the wall in front of the free kick. I watched the video of it because I couldn't watch it live. So I watched the video after, and it looked like the ball ricocheted off of one of the defenders' heads who was in the wall right in front. That's one of the things as a spectator, you always see the wall and you're worried that they're going to get hit in the face or what have you. But it ricocheted off the defender's head and then into the goal for you guys to win 1-0 with 3 seconds to go. An amazing win and a great game. Tell us about that play and about that game in particular.
It was amazing to get the win with 3 seconds left. The player in the wall, usually if you're in the wall, you stand and you look straight at the ball and you take the hit for the team. but he decided to turn his back. He looked away, hit his back, and the goalie was already diving to one side. He couldn't make it back. The ball was already in the net, and it was an amazing feeling to win with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, talking about size, they had a big team as well. It was a big physical game, a hard-fought game. It was basically 0-0 all the way until you guys won it at the end, so great job. That was exciting. We talked a little bit about team chemistry from a captain's perspective and a senior. How's the team coming together? Do you all get along? What's that team dynamic like?
No, team dynamics are great. We have diversity on our team, so we have a lot of cultural differences, but we all get to see cultural differences in the team mixed together, and we all feel great. We feel like the team is really gelling.
And winning certainly helps with that team dynamic. We talked about that earlier. Helps everyone get along a little bit more, so hopefully we can keep that going. Now, your first 8 games were at home, which is, Coach, I got to say, great scheduling. Nice work. Roque, how nice is it to play all those games at home to start out the season?
It's great. We have fans behind us. We have family that come out to watch. We're at home. We want to defend our fortress.
And you talked about fans coming out to the game. It seems like there has been more fan support this year than the last couple of years. Is there a home field advantage?
Yes,
is that
definitely.
To build?
There is. The opposing team comes out and they don't know how our field looks or how it feels. They have to come out and they have to warm up and get a feel for the field, but also for our fans. Our fans are rowdy. They give us support.
That's cool, and hopefully we can continue to build on the DC tradition of soccer. You know, obviously fans get behind the DC United in a big way. Hopefully they can come out to the UDC games in the same fashion. One thing I noticed is that you go over to the fans after the game and your team kind of applauds the fans. How did that start?
It started with Coach Matt telling us to go out and give him a hand. We have to thank him because they come out and they sit for 2 hours and watch our game while we fight for the school. We represent the school and we want to win. That's
great. Now let's switch to the academic side because you have a pretty cool story to tell in that regard as well. Obviously a very good student athlete. You're an environmental science major. What does that entail exactly? Tell us a little bit about your major and what you plan to do with that.
Environmental science, I am majoring in the general side of environmental science, and I plan to take my job, my career, into the field of the environment. Not also does the field deal with environment, it deals with economics and social equity. You could go into those, it's broad, and you could go into those paths. I think the field is growing because the world is changing and going into a sustainability route, and environmental science deals with that.
It's certainly something that's very important, obviously, in this day and age, and that's a point of emphasis at the University of District of Columbia as well in terms of a course of study.
Yes.
Now, you have an internship that's coming up. Are you allowed to talk about that? Is that?
Yes. Well, it's covering one of my courses. It's going to be at DDOE, working at Blue Plains for spring semester 2014.
And what does that mean?
So I'll be going to DDOE, and they'll have me doing whatever they say. The water from the district goes to Blue Plains, and it's...
Which then flows into the rivers and into the bay, right?
Yes, but the water that we receive in our tap is cleaned at Blue Plains.
Okay.
And, well, I'm going to receive an intern from DDOE, and it's going to be a great experience. I'm going to get something to put on my resume and take it on for the future.
That's great, and hopefully that you can parlay that into a full-time career, and it sounds exciting and certainly worthwhile, so Good luck with that. Coach, let's switch it back over to you and back to soccer. You're 4 games in, like we talked about. What are you doing technically, from a technical standpoint now that's working well, maybe that you weren't doing in the past, and something that you want to keep doing in order to keep winning?
Well, to be honest, we're not doing a whole lot differently. We've got different players, so it enables you to play a different way, maybe a different style. So we're just trying to find the best style, the right style that fits our players. And right now things seem to be clicking. So right now, as a coach, I'm trying not to get in the way. I'm trying not to complicate it too much. I'm trying to keep it simple, and right now it's working. So if I can stay out of the way and we keep performing well, we keep improving our performances, that's basically what I'm looking for.
We talked about the Nyack game, which you won 1-0. You also won a game 5-0 and a game 4-1. You've only given up 2 goals in 4 games. Talk a bit about why that is and how you've come to have such a good defense.
Yeah, well, I think we recruited in the areas that we were struggling last year and the year before. So we've brought in better players, which obviously helps in all areas. We look dangerous. We look a threat whenever we're attacking. We look like we're going to score goals. But we also look very tough at the back. Like I said, that we've got a lot of new players, but they are gelling very quickly. We're working hard on the training pitch. Both the players and coaching staff are working hard to make sure we don't make silly mistakes. And I think in years past, we've made mistakes and gifted teams goals. This year, we're trying not to gift teams goals. If teams are going to score against us, it has to be a good goal. California scored a great goal against us. 25 yards out, he shot it in the top corner. We couldn't do much about it. So if teams score goals like that against us, I'm okay with that. What we want to try and not see too much are the mistakes, either a goalkeeping error or a defensive error where we're allowing them the opportunity to score. So, we're just trying to make sure we keep it simple, don't make mistakes, and make them work for their goals.
And it seems like you mentioned earlier, Lewis Connor, your new goaltender, really is making a difference as well.
Huge impact. Yeah, I mean, he organises a back four. He can see the whole game ahead of him, so he should be talking to midfield players as well. So it makes a huge difference.
That's great. Now, last question, Roque. You're the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. You got a lot going on, which is great. What does that mean to be part of SAC, or the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and to be the president of it?
Well, to be the president just defines that I gotta lead. I've got to lead by example, and the objective of SAC this year is to really integrate the USGA with SAC and make some events happen.
USGA being the student government.
Student government here on campus, yes. We want to create a new environment for both the students on campus, but the student athletes as well. We've got some events with the athletic side where we do Coaches versus Cancer, we do youth days, we do a pool event, a movie night. We really want to give the student athlete body a voice for the administration to see what's going on in our eyes, and that also we could take the concerns or issues that we grow here on campus to the conference level or the national level.
That's great. Well, it seems like you definitely are leading by example, so keep up the great work. That's all the time we have. We wish you both the best of luck. I think there's many more wins to come this year for Firebird soccer, so we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully in the ECC tournament in later October. So best of luck to you, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll visit with head tennis coach Dickie Mahaffey and Firebird tennis student athlete Sophia Leon. We'd now like to welcome Firebird head tennis coach Dickie Mahaffey and Firebird tennis student athlete Sophia Leon. Thanks to both of you for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Coach, let's start with you. The men's tennis championship is in the spring. The women's tennis championship is in the fall, so you're right in the middle of your women's schedule. Tell us what the women's schedule has in store for us this year.
Well, we're off to a pretty good start. We're 2-0 now in conference play. We played St. Thomas Aquinas and Dowling College this past weekend. We have a non-conference foe matchup tomorrow versus Shepherd College, Shepherd University, and we followed by our regional championship tournament, which is a lot of fun for all the players for both teams. And followed by that, we get into the heart of our conference schedule.
So you're 2-0 in the conference already. That's a good start. You got to be pleased with that.
Very happy.
All right, that's great. Now, as you look at your overall schedule, what are the toughest matches that maybe you circle at the beginning of the year?
Our two toughest matches, as in the past, are going to be Queens College and New York Institute of Technology.
Okay, and aside from those, obviously you'd love to win those matches. What are your overall team goals looking at the season?
Our overall team goals, as every year, is we'd like to not only qualify for the conference championship tournament, but we would also like to win that tournament as we did 2 seasons ago. In addition, we'd like to make a return to the NCAA championship this season as well.
That's great. Certainly very good goals, and a good segue to my next question is that you have had a lot of success, ECC champions, NCAA tournament participants. What do you attribute that success to? How have you been able to accomplish that here at UDC?
The ladies are very committed to improving their play, and they're just not satisfied with where they are, even though they've been successful. So it's a tribute to the focus and hard work of the team.
And putting in the time, putting in the effort. We see them out there on the court in the mornings, getting their practice in. So obviously that's a tribute to you and to the student athletes. Sophie, let's switch it over to you. You're off to a 2-0 start as a team, which we talked about. You've also won all your matches, your 2 doubles matches and your 2 singles matches. We heard from your coach about the upcoming season. What are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Well, I'm really excited. It's going to be my last season. I can't believe it's been 3 years already. So yeah, we are all really excited. We are looking forward to having a great season, and we can't wait to keep winning.
What do you think about your chances going into the ECCs and into the mid-year schedule? You think you're going to have a good year?
I think so, I'm sure, yeah. We work really hard every morning, every lifting, every conditioning, so I think we have a very good chance.
That's great. Now, you mentioned you're a senior. What has it meant to you to play tennis at the University of the District of Columbia?
Wow, an amazing experience. I just wouldn't change it for anything. I'm sure I'm going to finish and going to miss it every day, yeah.
How did it end up that you decided to come to the University of the District of Columbia in the nation's capital?
Well, yeah, that's my answer. I wanted to go to a different country to study. And I was trying to decide where, and well, this school is in the nation's capital, so yeah, it made sense.
That's great, and it looks like it's all working out for you,
Yeah.
so congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been at UDC pretty much since the beginning when Coach Mahaffey got here. He's created a culture of winning and success, not only on the court, but also in the classroom. What's it like being part of a program like that and being, a student athlete under his tutelage?
Well, I think it's really important to be as successful as we are in the court, in the classrooms. And he keeps telling us that we are first students, so we have to work hard in both sides of the student life.
And you and your teammates are all doing a great job with that, and we'll obviously point to a couple examples in a minute. Last question for now is, your team is such a close group. It's obvious when you play matches, when you practice, when we see you around campus. It seems to be a really special relationship that you all have. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the fact that we are such a tiny group, I think it makes us closer. It's just natural. We live together, we practice together, we travel together. So it just makes sense to be together all the time.
That's great. And Coach, back over to you. We talked about the on-court success, which is documented in the stats and trophies, et cetera. But one thing our viewers may not know as much about is the academic success that you've had, and Sophie touched on it briefly. Some of the awards that you've won in the East Coast Conference, you won the Academic Team of Excellence Award, which is presented to the team with the highest GPA. Men's and women's tennis both won that award in the East Coast Conference. Last year, Alexander Grabovac, Kristina Nepividova, and Miguel Uzgatecki all won Academic All-District awards of some kind. Your team does really well in the classroom, which is obviously the biggest part of this whole equation. To what do you attribute that?
Again, I'm going to refer back to their commitment to excellence. They not only want to win on the tennis court, but they want to do well and achieve in the classroom. And they also recognize that that's the preparation they need moving forward when they move on into the working world.
That's great. Now, Sophie, let's talk about back to tennis. Obviously, you play doubles and singles. Is there one that you prefer better? And is there one that you think you're better at?
I think I prefer playing singles. Doubles is more fun. Yeah, I like it because it's fun. But in singles, I kind of feel the pressure, like when I'm playing doubles, that I have to do it right, In singles, it's just my game, my mistakes, my winners. So I think I prefer to play singles.
So there's more pressure in doubles, you're saying, than in singles?
For me.
That's interesting, because for a non-tennis player, I may view as singles, you're out there by yourself. So it's more nerve-wracking, perhaps more pressure. But in doubles, you've got a teammate to kind of lean on and help you out with. But you think it's definitely more pressure in the doubles. That's interesting. I guess because you have to rely on your teammate and you feel that weight of doing well for your teammate as well.
Exactly. You have to do good too.
Now, Coach, talking about the ECCs, NYIT, Queens College, UDC, who do you think is the favorite going into this year? Or is it tough to tell?
I think it's a toss-up. I mean, if you look at the preseason poll, coaches poll, NYT and Queens were right at the top. Not many votes separated them. That's probably an accurate call based on last year's results. But I'm confident that if we perform, if we continue to progress, we'll be right in that discussion as well.
Now, last question, Coach. When you're looking at trying to improve the play of your tennis student athletes, strength and conditioning comes into play, obviously practice, getting a lot of reps. How important is kind of the conditioning and the strength and conditioning going into being a tennis student athlete?
It's very important. Let's start with conditioning. I often tell the kids.
Sophie's smiling as you talk about conditioning. I guess there's a lot of work being done there.
Especially in singles, we start off with a doubles match and followed by singles, best 2 out of 3 sets. Often in a very close match, it comes down to the conditioning. Who's going to be more fit towards it down the stretch? Who still has a little bit more strength? Who isn't cramping up? Conditioning is very important. Going to the strength piece, that's also very important, especially for young players. I mean, a lot of college players, especially freshmen, sophomores, they've been doing one thing and we've been successful at it. When you're trying to develop a new skill set or alter a skill set, that's where the strength comes in, because you need to be able to make yourself do something different that's not necessarily comfortable at first, but you're going to make that technique change down the road.
Sure. Well, it seems like your team's putting in the work and they're getting the results from it, not only on the court but in the classroom as well. So keep up the great work, and we'll look forward to following the women's tennis team this fall. So best of luck to you both.
Thank you, Matt.
And thanks for being on the show.
Thanks.
That's all the time we have today. I'd like to thank our guests, Firebirds head men's soccer coach Matt Thompson and soccer student athlete Roque Hernandez, as well as tennis head coach Dickie Mahaffey and tennis student athlete Sophia Leon. Please don't forget to follow Firebird Athletics on the web at udcfirebirds.com, on Twitter at udcfirebirdfans, and on Facebook at UDC Athletics. Thanks for watching the Firebird Nation Sports Update. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. The Firebird is rising in the nation's capital, and we're glad you're along for the ride.